thought I'd go through and just show a couple things tonight, and talk about a couple images that I got, and then show some images at the end from October, kind of a review of some of the things we saw in the month. This is a photograph from the Midwest at 1:15 a.m. towards the east, and the reason that it's interesting is because it is a very deep red light, and the moon is actually behind the sun right now, so the moon is going to come up before the sun. So an interesting photograph. Thank you for sharing it. And again, this ominous red kind of color on the horizon. Here's one of those sneaky pictures. You look at it and you go, what the heck are they trying to tell me they're seeing in this picture? And then as you check this out, this is very strange, guys. As you zoom in on this cloud, you see this green orb, and we have been seeing this green planet reflected, and I think this is just one of those times where the lensing system was not directly blocking it off. And check out how the light actually bends around it too. Very, very interesting shot. That is a very loud Doberman behind me too that is chewing up a bottle, just so you know. But check out that green object, man. Let's see if I can pull in a little closer on it. Look at it, it's behind the clouds clearly, and that's our green planet, I believe, guys. I do. Today was a big day, 11:01, in terms of chemtrailing across the Midwest United States, and I think other areas of the world too. But they were really trying to cover up several things, as we saw earlier today. But one of the things they were trying to cover up was this reverse rainbow again, guys. It was as clear as can be today. And thank you for the subscriber that sent that one in for us to look at. But that reverse rainbow indicates that it's an object up there, guys.
Cameras can access down in
Antarctica rather. It's the Australian Antarctic Division. They're very generous with their footage. I'm just going to take you for a spin on 31st October 2016. Just look at it, guys. Just tell me what you're seeing here, because we're looking straight up in the sky, and I can't tell you what I'm seeing. And I've been seeing this for a long time. Check it out. See the circle and the triangles and all the weirdness on there, and these stationary objects up in the sky that are like there all the time. It almost looks like the surface of some kind of a planet or something. I can't tell you, man. Let's let it spin around and see if we have a clear day on the first two here. Looking at it real time with Steve Olson right now, first time. And again, oh, did you see that shadow come by? That probably was the moon. Look at that circle down in the lower middle. Unbelievable thing. I don't know what to tell you about it. It's weird. I just wanted to show it to you again. It's one of the things that has stumped me ever since I've been researching this. Is there a stationary object sitting over the southern hemisphere of the world? Okay. I don't know. Before I get into the musical portion of tonight's episode, and also all of the, several of the October picks that I kind of picked out to share with you guys at the end of the video with music, I wanted to talk to you about something. Again, it's about God. Sorry. It's about God. Yeah, you gotta listen. Listen to me. A lot of you have this mistaken notion that we're talking about inmates in a prison, and that you're an inmate in a prison, that God somehow is going to pop you loose in some kind of act of great grace and mercy, which is kind of true in a way. However, that's not the way you're supposed to look at it. The way you're supposed to look at it is that you're a child that belongs to a family, and that family is the family of God and the kingdom of God, and it's time for you to come home. That's what the gospel's about, not about inmates or penalties or anything like that. It's your family saying, come home now. It's time to come home. Come home. Come home to Jesus. Come home to Yeshua. He'll lead you right to the Father, man. I promise you. Have a good night. two aircraft buzzed our ship, the United States ship, and look at the picture. And they didn't even notice that they caught a picture of Nibiru, or of one of the planets of the Nibiru, what I call the Nibiru system. Right out there, man. This one was interesting. It's a new webcam. I'll put a link down below. But this cam is much more serious than the all sky cams, and because it is actually used in astronomy. So basically, what I did was I went back to the day that I thought that there would be a lot of activity, which in this case would have been, I think, the 14th. And sure enough, what do I see? As I move this through, tell me if you don't see a red dot moving behind the sun. See it? Moves all the way around. Now watch, here it is right here, and I'll start it again, and then that way you can see it. It's right here. See it? Now watch it move around the sun. It's not a lens flare, you guys. That's our bad boy coming in, is what it is. Okay, so take a look at this site, and keep an eye on it. If you see something on it, send it to me and we'll take a look. Okay. All right, so this is the satellite footage, or not, God, I keep calling it satellite. It is the satellite for the 99%, is what I call it. Anyway, it's a low Earth, high altitude balloon. This case was a 350-gram balloon with a payload of about 400 grams, which is a camera. And the good news is that the launch was super successful. I was able to recover the camera. I was able to recover the unit. We achieved something like 73,000 feet. But you know what? I made a big mistake. And I'm admitting it to you guys. I didn't put a big enough memory chip in it to capture the whole flight. So I only got the first half hour of the flight. So that should make you all very happy with me. But I do have a flight planned later for today. Or not today. But I have a flight planned for later in the week. And I'm getting 2 balloons, so I can do 2 flights next week. So if you guys could share with me what day you think would be the best day to send it up, and what time of day you think would be the best time to send it up, let me know right away, and we'll get more footage. We did see some anomalies in the high altitude footage, but mostly it was the getting above the chemtrail layers, how far we got in this video. I really feel stupid that I didn't put a big enough memory chip in here, you guys. Gosh, I'm not doing very well on space operations so far, but we'll get it right. So we've got the balloons launching. We know how to do it now. We've got stuff up in the air. That's Wisconsin, in case you're wondering. And so that's the balloon footage. We made it to probably about 50,000, 40,000 feet before the camera cut off. And then you can see the chemtrailer, just like he came right over my head when we were flying this flight. It was pretty funny. Hopefully you saw the balloon. I hate them. Anyway, so there you go. They're spraying the lithium to keep you guys going to work. You love it? Like it? Like it? God dang them, man. Jesus. Oh, they're just so mean. They're just so, evil. Anyway, next thing, let's go on to some pictures. And we've got a lot of them today, so just hang on. The first thing I want to show you is a nice capture. Here's this little dot that everybody's been capturing lately, and I can't tell if it's the sun or a different object. And then yesterday, Chris Potter put up a video that proved that they filmed this dot separate from the sun using stellarium. So we'll see. But look at this reverse out image of this. This is very interesting to me because it's just basically setting up contrast and things like that. But look, you've got this dot, and then you've got this kind of increasing orb of redness going on behind the sun, and that jives with that astrological thing I just showed you from the astronomy site. Not astrological, but astronomy site. So again, we're seeing this thing moving around the back of the sun, and this might be a manifestation of it in the background. Here's just a good picture of something. This could be a flare, okay, but again, it's a compelling photograph. This one is compelling only because we can see the object here just faintly, but you got to have an eye for it, man. Once you start looking at this stuff, you'll start picking stuff up. And on the other hand, what you'll start doing is you'll see stuff where there is nothing, right? This was an interesting photograph in that that's not, it could be a lens flare, but again, we're getting that dotted orb, and it makes me wonder if maybe there's something in front of the sun that's a dotted, that looks like that. This is Egypt, where we're seeing big, huge, like, shadows in the sky, for lack of a better word, like they're blocking that part of the sky. And if that is the case, things are getting pretty heated. Here's just an interesting, weird picture that I got. Here's this one with this little thing up here. This one is not a lens flare in this case. This one here doesn't have the characteristics of a lens flare, and I think that's jives with the Brazilian photos that Marshall Masters analyzed the other day. Here's an interesting photograph where you've got the two little like green things happening and lots of refraction and refraction, but again, just, you know, interesting stuff. Now let's get into a few Roy things. Today I want to speak to the Roy stuff. Roy does a great job to make these self-explanatory, but today I want to explain a little bit. This is starting to get very scary. And the reason I say that it's scary, it's looming on the horizon and it's getting closer. We were not able to make out the blue versus the red in these earlier Savannah Skycams, you know, pictures. So Roy actually yesterday, you know, was able to capture both the blue and the red, which jives with that little like hourglass that we keep seeing all the time, reflecting. Blue and red, there it is. Blue Kachina, red Kachina, in my opinion. It's just, look at that. And remember how we talked about the big orb, little orb? Could this possibly be an orbiting body around a larger body? I think it is. Now here's where we go to an old photograph of Nibiru, and basically he's showing that the shape of this is the same as these early photographs of Nibiru, and the odds of that are pretty freaking low. Roy, again, Roy, you know, captured it in France. Again, here's the little dot, the big dot, close up. Unbelievable. And again, from France, he was able to discern the shape of what we think the system might look like. All right, to shift gears, we have friends in China, okay? Friends of friends in China, let's say it. And on April 19th, the Chinese will no longer deal in the dollar, and on that day, $2 trillion plus will be returned to U.S. banks almost instantly. Now, I'm not trying to cause a panic or a scare or anything like that, but what I am saying is be aware of this, okay? When the Chinese have every right to go to the yuan, number one, okay? And they've been intending to do this for a long time, and they've gotten the yuan as one of the four global currencies, which is the sterling, pound sterling, dollar, yuan, and I can't remember what the last one is. But so basically, they're getting ready to execute this next level of becoming their own banking society. And it's going to be, it could be ugly. So be ready. It's not in the major news anywhere. Nobody's covering it except for the truthers like me. So I wanted to make sure I put that alert out to everybody. Okay? Just be heads up. Have cash. Don't rely on ATMs. There might be a bank holiday, etc. This is just some Soho photography showing different things. These could be planets. This is the flight path that my balloon took the other day. It went up to 70,000 feet. I didn't have film in it. Oh, I feel stupid. Now, the reason I pulled this one out, first of all, spooky little graveyard. We're seeing a double dot now. Now, I understand a single dot lens flare. I get that. I get it completely. But to say there's nothing to learn from a lens flare is pure lunacy. This is a reflection. And what we've got is a reflection of two things, not one. Okay? If it was one thing, I got one lens flare, but I got two things up there. Okay? That's why we're seeing the double dot lens flare. This is a red, this is from Pontiac, Texas, stellar skies. And this is in the west. At this time of night, Mars would have been over here in the east. Hope maybe that's even Mars right there. And just had this huge red burst of light coming out from stellar skies, Texas. Here we have the again the halo again, and I can't remember where this is from, but it was a guy that said he never saw the halo till today. It's there all the time, you guys, and I'm going to show a picture of it every time. Somebody sends me a picture of the halo every day. And the reason I'm saying this is part of that shielding I think they're doing. They're trying to keep things as normal as possible so that people don't panic, okay? This could be the moon, okay, because it's got the right amount of light on it, but there are other objects up in here that are just amazing from the ISS. And this is our typical Moon Glow Observatory look in Missouri. Look at this one. So photo gallery, National Geographic, Queen Maud Land. These guys are doing an expedition. Notice that their shadows are like in this angle here. Okay, what's that? Oh, it's a lens flare. Okay. Here's just some interesting cloud structures that people want to share with me. And then you go up here and then you see an object. That's not a lens flare, my friends. Just not. What I liked about this reverse out, again, is it shows that multiple red, like it goes from this to this, this, until it's a huge red orb in the back. And it also shows this green thing in this, and then the orb in the middle. I got this really cool photograph. Now, this is a known sunspot, okay? But what's interesting about this known sunspot, go look at Mr. MBB333 and go check out what he says about the sunspot, and then go back. You know, again, we can capture a sunspot on the sun, you guys, with a camera like this person shows, and that's a sunspot that we know about. Excuse me, but that sunspot is not in the right spot. If you look at it from the spacecraft, it's in the upper right quadrant of the sun, not in the lower right quadrant of the sun, which indicates that we've been tipping again. This one was interesting to me. It was a blow up from this photo where you can actually see the green orb. We had a huge flare yesterday, and somebody sent me a quick update on it. And of course, we know that we're having lots of earthquake activity in Ecuador and in Indonesia, or wherever it is. Those 7-point whatever earthquakes are starting to happen. And then if you listen to Terrell Blackstar, we're on the outside orbital position, so we should be expecting this. The question is, how close is it, and how is going to determine how bad the earthquakes are going to be. This one was just cool because we got this like red line going through it, which is kind of a weird effect that I would say is from ultraviolet radiation. Hey, I need some help out there, guys. Anybody that looks at this GOES 15 solar X-ray imager photos, if you've ever looked at these before, is it normal for me to have, so here's the sun, okay, in the background, and we can see the X-rays coming off the sun. But is it normal for me to have like a beam of X-ray light across this thing? Is that how they measure it or look at it? I don't know, because it seemed out of place to me, but somebody could probably educate me on this, okay? Please do. And again, just kind of getting back to the beginning of the photos again. So everybody, real busy video today. But before I leave you and let you go, I want you to put your glasses down for a second, you guys. It's easy to stay up all fucking night on this thing. Excuse my language. It's easy to stay up all night looking at images. It's easy just to do this 24/7. Don't ignore your family. Don't ignore the people that you love. Spend a little bit of time away from this subject from time to time, okay? And get close to Jesus. Meditate. Relax. You've got to put it down once in a while. We're going to need all your energy in the coming days, and we don't need you burned out when it comes, okay? We need all the believers to be ready, okay? With that, I'll leave you go, and till next time, Steve Olson signing off.